Okay, this is a very serious question. What do you do in the morning to help you prepare for your day? In today's episode, I want to talk about how important it is to set your day up correctly by having a morning routine. And I've seen this over and over again. So this will be some suggestions and maybe some things to stay away from. All right, here we go. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this. You are worth it. And you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. All right, this subject has been on my mind personally for the last year, no joke, because I have gone into having a morning routine and then back out for a little bit and then back in. And now it's been a year. And you know, the best part about that is I get to take a step back and say, holy cow, I had no idea that there was going to be so many changes during that period where I had a solid morning routine. So I'm just going to talk at you today. And I hope that this is hitting your heart somewhere that it needs to. As entrepreneurs, we see so much overwhelm. I have this crazy story actually I'm going to share first. I did this market research questionnaire, we'll call it, probably about 2 months ago before I started my podcast. And I specifically was reaching out to other entrepreneurs, creatives, artists. And I had 20 people in the end that had done this survey for me. So I'm going to say about 90% of them were photographers, but there was other things like graphic artist and I had an interior designer, so just different creatives. And I asked a lot of good questions in preparation for this podcast and for my course that's coming out soon. But one of the things that just stood out to me was I asked, have you ever considered quitting your business? And I had one person out of 20 that said never, just to set that up for what the rest of the results were. I had about 75% of them say often, and then the rest of them said sometimes. So that is a huge range in the negative, in my opinion, that so many people have thought about just throwing in the towel with their business. And I thought, oh my gosh, well, I have a lot to say about that. That'll be in separate episodes. But today, I want to talk about what can we do to stop the overwhelm and the anxiety and the feeling kind of helpless when you are running a business. So here we go. One thing that I just am dying to talk about, and that's why I'm doing the episode today, is the importance of a morning routine. And we'll go over some of the benefits at the end of the episode that I saw personally. But I want to just talk about how that sets you up for not just success, but being disciplined and accepting abundance in all levels, okay? So what does it mean? What does it mean to have a morning routine? First off, I am already an early riser. I know that a lot of people aren't, so you're probably coming from a different place. I'm going to share my experiences, and you'll have to look at your own schedule and see where you can change things up. But obviously, if you're going to wake up early to start the day out good, it's better if the children and the spouses are still asleep. So I'm just going to throw that out there as an important factor, in my opinion. I love my alone time. I'm actually in a house of people that really enjoy their own time. So even though I have a child that may be considered a little needy in certain subjects, right? She also enjoys her own time. My husband enjoys his own time. We are all happier when we get to have that. So that's just the space that I'm coming from. So when I wake up early, I wake up at 5:15 in the morning. I pretty much jump out of bed at that time. You know why I jump out of bed at that time? It's because I went to bed earlier than I would have if I wasn't going to wake up at 5:15, right? So I'm making sure I'm getting the sleep I need, which is 7 hours for me personally. And therefore, when 5:15 comes around, I just kind of get up. I'm not a snoozer, but this can still work for people who want to sleep in a little bit later and maybe like that snooze button, like most people I know. But yes, I wake up early and I do grab my phone because it's by my bed, but I make it a point that I do not check my phone right away. I just take it out of the room with me. So I take it out to the table. I have already laid out my clothes the night before for me to put on some workout clothes. I am not doing a heavy workout routine. I am certainly not in the mood for that. I just want to get some blood flowing, right? It's just a really good thing to start moving that blood around, maybe getting your metabolism going and drinking some water and all that good stuff. So I actually get on my clothes and I just get on the treadmill for a bit. So while I'm on the treadmill, I will usually have my earbuds in because I'm obviously not trying to wake up everybody. And I will turn on some music. The music that I love to do would be anything that's like Hertz music or Schumann resonance music. So it's more like a binaural beat kind of thing where it's like, woo, and it's very pretty. And they have different Hertz for different things. So like there's some for anxiety relief and some for abundance and just all sorts of things. And so I turn that on and I walk and I kind of let my thoughts go for a minute. I just think about whatever I want for a little bit. I give myself that space to kind of be like, okay, what do you want to think about? Just let it all out. Because if you don't, if you ignore it, then it'll keep coming back, right? And I don't want that. I want to have time to also focus on what am I doing today and what am I inspired to do today? I am somebody who absolutely trusts my intuition and just loves to get that inspiration. So I call this time my walk and talk with God. You can call it whatever you want. You don't have to believe in God to receive some benefits from doing this kind of work. So definitely don't let that sway you. But it's a connection. Okay, we're looking for a connection with things that are going on around us and just being connected inside. Okay, that's the vibe that I'm really going for. So after I do that, I guess I probably walk. It just depends on what the day looks like. Because some mornings are, I have less time, but I usually walk at least a mile. So we're looking between 20 and probably 45 minutes. I'm not walking fast. If you can do that math, you probably already figured that out. I do sweat a little bit, but I'm not really wanting to do a full workout in the morning, but I've definitely seen people do that for this, and that totally works too. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the benefits that I saw from this work. I told you guys earlier that I did this for a year. So I'm going to break that down and really talk about what happened when I stopped and all of that, just so you can get an idea. So I set this up for myself as a way to remember to connect and remember to tap into my intuition, because I don't do well with to-do lists. And I find that every day I'm like, I have this, kind of list in the background where I know things that need to get done. But if I tap in on the daily basis, then I get like, oh, Aubrey, you should do this today and that and this over here. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but it does turn out that those are actually well timed And so I like to kind of do that with my intuitive to-do list. I'm going to call it that. So I'm a little different from a lot of people in that respect, but that's okay. So when I was doing this, I was actually very in tune with those projects that I needed to do. So I was releasing programs and courses at a bizarre rate, or recording meditations for Insight Timer, and just doing different group calls it probably from the outside looked like I was just throwing things out, but really I was doing them at the pace and in the order that I felt like I needed to. The crazy thing about this was that on more than one occasion, I had a client come to me with a concern or something come up where I was like, oh, I already made a meditation for that. Or actually, I just did this course and I think this would be perfect for you. So it was like really lining up the way I needed it to, and the way that was not rushed and not panicked and not hurried, so that I was able to help more people. So that was, and in a more aligned space. For me, that's super important. So that was amazing to see. But the other thing that was super crazy was I took a look. Okay, so I stopped in December. Actually, I remember the exact morning. It was right before school got out. And I went to wake up at 5:15. And I was like, man, I feel a little bit sick. Like just getting a little groggy, and my nose was stuffed up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just a little sick. And then right away, my subconscious mind that I've been training so well was like, Aubrey, disciplined people get up. And so I got up, and I laugh at that now because that day actually I couldn't even walk on the treadmill. I was like really sick. So I couldn't go back to sleep, but I didn't do this routine. And from then on out, my daughter was out of school, and it just ended up being like, let's just take a little break. I don't have to wake up so early, and we don't have to get going so fast. So I purposely accepted that phase, and it was great. It was really amazing to just be able to take a rest from it. But what happened is when it was time for school to go back in, and it should have been really time for me to start up again, I didn't. So I took a couple extra weeks of not getting back into that morning routine purely out of habit at that point. And I couldn't tell you guys, I mean, it's crazy. My productivity was in the crapper. Like, I was taking so long to get things done during the day that I had. And not only that, but my mind was foggier. I wasn't able to clearly think through things in a way that I'm used to, which is faster and more efficient. So I definitely saw that result there too. And as a crazy, even more important fact here is when you're running your business, you kind of need to have that flow of money. And it was showing up in my flow of money. So I wasn't bringing in as much when I wasn't waking up. And then I decided to start waking up again early and doing my routine. And it was like that first day that I noticed again, I was able to bring in more money and I was able to get stuff done. So since I don't believe in coincidences anymore at this phase in my life, I am willing and able to connect those dots as something that's super beneficial for entrepreneurs, people who own their own businesses and need to be productive and need to have a abundance mindset and a flow that comes into their lives. So I hope this was super helpful to you. I know that everybody has different life circumstances, different things that are going on at home and with your business. So just take what you can from this and try to apply it the best way that fits your schedule in your life. All right, have a wonderful day, guys. I'll see you next time. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friend, see you soon.